Yes, the Ocala Real Estate Channel. We're going to be talking about changes in the Ocala real estate market, a couple of different things that are happening right now. Numbers, I tell you what, something that's really fascinating. Obviously there's always we tend to slant towards the negative, but if you really look at the numbers that we're seeing right now, there's a big difference. Well, maybe there isn't a big difference, right? Look at the number of sales. 2024 May, actually the largest selling May ever in Marion County. If you look at 966 in April, that's the second highest next to 2021. And so on and so forth. Very comparable sales all the way across the board. So we're having a real strong year in Marion County. I think that's a real plus. By the way, Glenn Stein Realty Executives here and on the Ocala Real Estate Channel. If you haven't liked or subscribed, or if you need to share this video with anybody that needs the information, please do so. It would mean a ton to me for sure. But let's start looking at the big changes that we're seeing right now in the Marion County market. Obviously, we're seeing really positive signs. The inventory is pretty much the same, right? Inventory is pretty much the same from what we've seen over the last couple of years. So that's a good thing. We're seeing more sales, inventory staying flat. That means prices are tending to creep up a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised by the end of the year we start seeing maybe 5 to 6% increase in sales. We'll see if that happens or not, but I see a little bit of an increase in everybody's equity for sure. So I think that is certainly something to look at. Something that's come down the pike over the last several months is obviously the changes on how buyers need to be represented with buyer brokerage agreements. That's going to be mandatory in the very near future, probably sometime in August. So you're planning on buying a property or selling a property, you could see some changes in forms. This is one of them, the one I'm actually sharing right now that might be very typical for people to actually look at, and that is the compensation agreements, right? So you might see a compensation agreement. This one you may not see because this is actually the seller's broker to buyer's broker. So if you're listing a home in Florida, in Ocala, Marion County, then what will happen is that you will be approached by your listing agent on whether you want to offer compensation to the buyer's broker. And if you do want to offer compensation, then this is probably the form that will be exchanged between listing agent and buyer brokerage agent. If you decide that you're not going to offer anything to the buyer broker, then there's going to be a form, and then if you change your mind, there's probably going to be a form there is a form that will be the compensation agreement that will say seller to buyer broker, right? So a couple of different forms that are going to be used, buyer brokerage forms and compensation forms, because the big change that we're seeing with all this is that compensation will no longer be on MLS. So changes on how we're going to do business, not just as real estate professionals, but also how it's going to involve sellers and buyers alike. Big thing though, lots of stability in the Marion County Ocala market. We're seeing really good growth. And this is what's fascinating about this, is that we're seeing this kind of growth, and the growth is still happening with interest rates in the upper sixes, lower sevens, right? So can you imagine if the interest rates were 2, 3, 4, 5? Like, it would be really crazy. And that's probably why the interest rates are not, because if they were that low, then market would go just insane, and I think prices would go out of control, which is what we saw 2 years ago. That's exactly what happened. So if you have questions, here's my number, 352-572-3796. You could also visit our website as well, buymidflhomes.com, midflhomes.com, if you want to search around. And like I said before, please like our video. If you have somebody that needs to see this information, please share it and subscribe. That would be fabulous. And also, a big thing about this is that if you're needing some advice, if you need some advice as to what to do, whether it's on property management side, rental, or buying, please let me know. We can assist you with that for sure. So look out for those form changes, and we'll talk to you real soon.